My name is Brian Mwenda. I'm the CEO of Hopetech. We build mobility assistive devices for blind and visually impaired people. And we also run an innovation hub here in Nairobi called Senses Hub, where we support all assistive technologies. And we've worked with many innovators across different fields. So I hope we can share some insights on AI-powered accessibility tools. And I'm joined by Klaus Höckner. And I'm going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself. Klaus.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation to Nairobi, to this wonderful conference. My name is, as mentioned, Klaus Höckner. It's very hard to spell. I know Höckner. I'm wearing several hats. The job that feeds me is I'm a CEO of a blind and visually impaired DPO, the biggest one in Austria. And that's the reason why we are connected to Brian, because Brian came to Vienna and applied for some fundings with the Vienna Business Agency. And they told me, look at this guy, he is a very smart guy. He is developing a very interesting device. And so I think we connected 5 years ago. It was before COVID, yeah. And now we're joining. We're going the way together. We will see, yeah, what's going to happen in the next 5 years, yeah, because now we have this device. It will be on the market soon. Austria is one of the test markets, and yes, AI will be added, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much, Klaus. I think you're really modest because you do a lot of work, not just for your organization, which is a membership organization. And congratulations, I think you're celebrating 90 years this year.
True, yeah, 90
so 90 years.
I don't look like 90, but then,
no,
yeah.
I don't think you were there when it was started 90 years ago. But maybe, and I know you also have a huge focus on digital accessibility and AI-powered accessibility tools. Maybe you can tell us more about what is available out there, the landscape, how it's changing, and maybe the policy side, especially with the European Accessibility Act coming into place. Yeah.
Yeah, the good and the bad thing is AI is here to stay. Yeah? AI has both sides. It's a good side, and it has promises, and it also has some things to consider. But what is on the market? What I see on the market and in the field of products, yeah, there, and you can see it also here. For deaf and hard of hearing, there's a lot of things that is going on. For example, avatars or sign language translation with AI. For blind and visually impaired, you have many things going on. For example, in speech in and speech output. Then captioning is one of the things that's really going good. For example, when we look at captioning 5 years or 10 years ago, it was a crap. Yeah? Now it has an accuracy of 98%. It depends on the language, and that's one of the problems that we have. For example, when you look to Europe, but especially to Africa, with so many languages, yeah, the minority languages, how to train them, for example. And when I look to mobility and mobility constrained persons, then you also have very promising things. What is about the self-driving car? What is about the self-driving wheelchair? Why not a self-driving wheelchair, for example? And in the field of cognitive disabilities, there are also very promising things. I've seen at the Zero Project conference in Vienna this year, for example, an avatar for persons with speech disorder. You can train this avatar within one day, and this avatar then speeches in a normal language with your tongue. Yeah. If you are not able to speak, for example, and that's a really amazing thing.
Well, thank you for that. I'm just going to add an input into that because a lot of people will hear these kinds of technologies and everything that's happening out there and wonder what role or how does Africa play into into this whole AI and digital assistive tech tools. So one of the projects that we're doing at Census Hub is around collecting African languages and including them in AI, because you find, for example, the captioning is really great, but then if you have a speech disability, it's really hard for it to understand you. So one of the things we're doing is collecting impaired speech and training AI models so that people with speaking difficulties can be understood. But then another step is to do this in African languages. Because it doesn't matter if you just do it in English. Not everybody speaks in English. So we're working with the Center for Digital Language Inclusion, the UK, GDI Hub, and trying to collect these languages and just making sure that Africa is also included in these conversations and in these tools that are being made. Yeah, and I don't know what about your experience, Klaus, about adoption, especially for mainstream companies, for people. I think for every one of us that works in this AT ecosystem, we understand the need for these products. But for other organizations, for banks, for telecommunication companies, I know we have to force them by law, by policy. But what are the barriers that you see to adoption of these accessibility tools? Yeah.
Let me go back a little bit in the loop. You asked what can Africa do, or what is the role of Africa? Yeah, I think it's a very simple thing. Yeah, it's demographic. Yeah, Africa is the fastest growing continent on the earth. Yeah, I think in 2030 you have 1.7 billion people here. Most of them are under 50. In the other continents we have. Like in Europe, when you look to Japan, for example, we have a shrinking population. Both sides of the medal need AI. Why we need it in the shrinking companies, in the shrinking countries, because AI is needed for the elderly person. When I look in Africa, you at the continent of the mobile phone. And the continent of the mobile phone means we have so many AI-based and AI-driven apps that there's the market. Yeah, if I don't see the market, yeah, then I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, and that's the connection to the big companies. The big companies, they have to see the market. They have to see the market chance. The target group. Yeah? The target group here in Africa is the younger generation. The target group in the shrinking countries or shrinking continents will be the elderly persons. Yeah. And I forgot the third one you asked.
The barriers to adoption. Like why don't these big companies adopt?
Yeah. And you said, okay, we have legal obligations. Yeah, it's always the same. I think it's you have to have the carrot and the stick. Yeah? The carrot means you have the market opportunities, and the stick is you have to have regulations. That's also the reason why I'm here, to talk a little bit about the European Accessibility Act. The first time that we have a law with teeth in 27 European countries. And if you don't follow the rules of the European Accessibility Act, then you are not allowed to sell the products in the European Union. And don't forget, the European Union is bigger than the United States of America regarding to customers. Yeah? And if you're not allowed to sell there, you know it because you bring a product on the market in the European Union, and you know the market chances are far bigger. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I think I'm just drawing this parallel to, we've also had a Kenyan Persons with Disability Act just passed a few weeks ago, but then comparing the consequences of not adhering to it, there's really not much that can happen to you as a business or as a person in Kenya if you don't follow this act. So maybe there is something to learn from the European Accessibility Act, that you really can't sell a product if you haven't thought about making it accessible. And that's why now we will come up with all products being designed as accessible. So I think that's a really huge thing. I can't wait to see what happens after the deadline passes on June 25th. And yeah, I hope
there will be as far as I know, yeah, most of the countries have a 2 years grace period. Yeah, in a 2 years grace period, to say, okay, you are not compliant. Yeah, you have to follow the rules, repair it. Yeah. but after 2 years you have to pay. Yeah, it's not like in America where you have to pay millions, but you have to pay 80,000 euros. I don't know how much it is in shilling. 80,000 euros if you don't follow the rules. Yeah,
It's a lot of
and
money.
80,000 is a lot. Yeah, and the last consequence is if you really don't follow the rules after being sued, after having paid and blah blah blah. Yeah, then you're put out of the market. Yeah, you put out of the market, and the thing is, we have a little bit of a different approach than the Americans with Disability Act. Yeah, we say, okay, we have the assumption of conformity. Yeah, we assume everybody who brings a product or brings a service on the market, yeah, follows the rules. Yeah. And if I'm a person with a disability, for example, yeah, and I'm coming to you, you have a website, and I say your website is not accessible, not according to the rules, to the WCAG Act 2.3, blah blah blah, yeah, then you have to prove me that your website is accessible, yeah? And not I have to prove that your website is not accessible, and that's the thing, yeah.
No, I think that's really fantastic. And as we wrap up, what tips will you give somebody with a business who's never heard about accessibility or AI-powered accessibility tools? I think AI is helping people to become accessible faster. So where would you point somebody? What kind of tools do you think people should start with? What kind of things do you think have to be accessible, in your own opinion?
Yeah, follow the rules. That's the first thing. Yeah, but AI, AI is not the one and only solution. You see, yeah, accessibility. If you make AI-powered tools and services, take into consideration that you bring in people with disabilities into the process of the design, of the production and the testing, for example, yeah, and follow the rules. If there are rules outside, it's not a big problem, yeah. If you follow the WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, for example, then 90% of the problem is solved, yeah, let's say, yeah. But nevertheless, you have to involve people with disabilities, but there's one more thing which I have to say, yeah, every time, yeah. Go out of your silo. Don't preach to the preachers, yeah. We are here at the conference when we for persons with disabilities, we know each other, yeah. But go out of this silo. Go to the people outside. Go to a conference where nobody knows about accessibility and AI, and you will see the people. Most of them will say, "Huh? What's that? Accessibility? Why do I need this?" Yeah, and explain it to them why they need it and what is the target group and how big is the target group. We have 1.5 billion people worldwide with a disability. If you count the relatives and the friends, we have 2 billion people. 2 billion people are 20% of the world population.
Yeah, I think when people ask, is there a business opportunity in assistive tech, in disability, the numbers speak for themselves. And if your product is accessible, these are people who will definitely use your product, because if it's the only one that's accessible. I think accessibility can be scary to many people, but once people understand accessibility is never a destination, you can never say you're 100% accessible, but then you can use tools, you can follow rules, and you can always work towards accessibility, and that's what we all do. We learn every day, we work towards accessibility. I think most businesses will do really well if they really just work towards accessibility instead of seeing accessibility as this high bar that can never really ever be met. Yeah.
And AI can be a supportive instrument. Yeah, AI is not the solution for all. Take it as one instrument, yeah, which you can add to all the other things that you use to repair or that you use to build your services and your products. Yeah.
Yeah. As we wrap up, I think my own conclusion will be AI is just a tool in terms of building the product. The most important thing, as somebody who's built many products, is involving users. So you definitely have to involve users right from the start so that you don't get any surprises as you launch the product. And AI is something that enables you. It's like the same way we don't view microchips and the internet as the solution. It's just a tool that you use to deliver a service, but absolutely you need users at the center of the product. I'll give you an opportunity for last words, Klaus.
Yeah, and you need the data of the users. Yeah, that's the big issue, because the biggest problem, I think, in my opinion, the biggest problem of AI is the bias that you have, and the bias comes from the training, and the training will be is done with the data from the producers. Yeah, and that means you have the white European, Anglo-American young men. Yeah, and they produce and they deliver the data, and therefore the bias comes into all the solutions from the AI. So the thing that you mentioned before, yeah, you're collecting data, yeah, from the African continent for African languages, yeah. That is the true way. How can I make AI also accessible? Yeah? I have to train the system with the right data.
I think that's the best place to end this fireside chat. We need inclusion in terms of data sets for AI, for it to be accessible and inclusive. So thanks a lot, Klaus.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for joining online. Yeah,
a nice conference.
Very nice conference. Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.